Hello chess friends, how would you like to learn how to win out of the opening against the Caro-Kann defense when your opponent gets too ambitious? I'm Grandmaster Max Illingworth, and this video is a little sneak peek of a really cool project I've been working on that I will be announcing to you in a later email. But for now, let's get into the game and show this really cool opening trap. And this isn't like one of those YouTube sort of opening traps where, let's say, someone just suggests some bad move that only works when the opponent falls into it, and if the opponent plays correctly, then you just get a bad position. No, this one is a Grandmaster trap, where white plays good moves, and we see how to punish a common mistake by black at the club level. And this is in the Caro-Kann defense, a game between an IM against, I believe, a FIDE master. So the game went as follows. White played e4, Caro-Kann is with c6, going for d5. And white didn't play the normal d4 move here, but instead played the two knights with knight c3, d5, and knight f3, which, by the way, I actually cover in one of my videos in the Chess Improvement group for members of that group. So if you're already a member of that group, you can check that for more details on this opening. But one move I actually didn't cover in that video was the move d4, which was played in this game. Now, what are your thoughts on the move d4? Is it a good move, or do you think it's a mistake? As always in these videos, whenever I ask a question, you can pause the video and think about it in your own time, and then come back here when you've decided on your move, so that you can learn as if we were having a one-on-one chess lesson, and you're not even paying a cent for it. How cool is that? Okay, so obviously, excuse me, obviously the knight is under attack on c3. I drank my water the wrong way. So you could retreat it to different squares, but I like the move knight e2 that white played in the game, because you don't just retreat the knight, but you attack the pawn on d4 as well. Now black defended it with pawn to c5, and what might be a good move for white now to attack that pawn on d4 again. You see, when it comes to attacking an opponent's pawn, when it's defended by a pawn like this, it doesn't matter how many pieces you attack it with, that pawn's still going to be safe because it's less valuable than the pieces that are attacking it, you know, knights and bishop. So instead, a better approach for white when your opponent defends their pawn with a pawn of their own is we should attack it with our own pawn to actually threaten to win it. And that's why the move c3 is so strong in this position. By the way, the move knight g3 is also sometimes seen to activate the bishop, but it's a lot more passive than c3, which fights for the initiative by making a clear threat to the pawn. Now, in the game, black played knight c6, which we'll see as a mistake. If they played d3, which way do you think our knight should move in response to deal with the threat? Yeah, exactly right. We would play knight f4 and simply win the pawn on d3, because if they build a pawn chain with c4 to defend, well, then the c pawn is undefended, and you see how we can fork the pawn in another piece, right? Yeah, great job. Play queen a4, and not only do you win this c pawn, but you also pick up the d pawn next move. So we can see it's not just about taking the space in a chess game, but actually making sure you can keep those pawns safe after they advance. And that problem comes up for black in the game as well. He probably should play dc3, though even then white will get a very strong initiative. We're going to play d4 and take over the center that way. With knight c6, I guess the bishop b5 pin is giving white a pretty nice lead in development. I mean, knight c6 is a very natural move here. It's actually the most common move from this position in games between club players. The problem is that after c takes d4 and c takes d4, the IM playing white in this lovely Vienna Open found the refutation of black's play. So do you see the move that white should play? Can you play like an international master? Yeah, congratulations if you found the following move. Now the pawn here is attacked 2 times and defended 2 times. And what white did was he added a third attacker with the move queen a4, pinning the knight and threatening to take the pawn. Now maybe you considered this move, but you thought, well, what if black plays e5 and tries to defend it? But then we have the classic pin, a simple but important chess tactic. And because the knight is pinned to the king in what we call an absolute pin, it's almost as if that knight is not really there and that this pawn is really undefended. We can simply take it, and obviously they can't take our knight because the king would then be in check. So white simply won a pawn. Again, if you play d3, white can even play knight e d4 to make sure that he picks up that pawn on d3 scot-free. In the game, black played bishop d7, and well, the rest of the game after knight e d4 is a good masterclass for you in how to win with an extra pawn. Because white's already won a pawn, but I'm sure you've played games where you won material and still you didn't win and maybe even lost, right? So let's learn how to not get swindled for next time. Black played the move e5, which maybe isn't the best move, but he is down a pawn anyway. I mean, moves like knight e5, discovered attacks don't really do a lot, because the queen can just move to safety. So e5. And what do you think is the best way to deal with this attack on the pawn, on the knight on d4? Yes, that's right. You can play knight takes c6, ensuring we trade the knight and don't lose time. And yes, after bishop c6, their bishop got to a more active square, and our queen's under attack. But that's not what's important here. What's important is we have an active defense to keep the initiative, to keep control of the game. Do you see it? Okay, if you have already learned my lessons about how to use the secret energy of chess and how to put pressure on your opponents to make mistakes, then you probably came up with the move bishop b5. We develop a new piece, we attack the bishop on c6, and if they play bishop b5 to defend the threat to the bishop, we take, and we have a nice multi-fork, ensuring that one of the black pawns will fall next move, and we simply will win the game pretty comfortably from there, with 2 full extra pawns at least. And also in the game, after bishop to d6, trying to defend the e-pawn, well, white played bishop takes c6, and he was even able to take a second pawn with check. And this game was over pretty soon, so I'll just show you the final moves. White castled the king to safety, knight e7, attacking the queen. White played queen a6. It's true, other queen moves were also quite good. And after g6, this position is one where there are a lot of winning moves for white. You know, whatever move you want to play is probably a good one here. But the way to ensure you actually convert it to the win is to keep control of the position, to not give the opponent time to make lots of threats against your pieces or maybe whip up some attack against your king to try to swindle you. The way to stop that here is just to keep up the threats and keep up our fast development. So the way white did that was with pawn to d4, attacking the pawn on e5, which is only defended once now and attacked twice. And after e d4, white did not take with knight d4, but instead he played a better move. He played bishop h6, and black actually resigned at this point, because whichever way his king goes, he's going to be in big trouble. Let's say if he goes to e8, well then the king is stuck in the center, it can never castle again, and you don't even have to take with the knight, though that would also be winning. You can even just play rook d1 and take with the rook in order to use that pin against the bishop to the queen for a decisive advantage. Also some checking on the king could be a bit annoying in the future, depending on what black plays. And if they go king g8, well, then black's problems are a bit more long-term, in that the rook is completely stuck, it can't develop anymore. And after a move like queen c4, for example, you can take the pawn, set up mate threats against g7, using the pawn bishop on h6, and yeah, basically the game is pretty much decided at this moment. as black is completely dominated and his king is too weak, which is perhaps even more significant than the fact he's about to be 2 pawns behind. So that was our game here, where we covered our little opening trap. Let's just recap it quickly to make sure you remember it. So it's when we play the 2 knights against the Caro-Kann with knight c3 and knight f3. And if they go d4 and c5, we then focus our fire against the d pawn with c3. And then if knight c6, we take. And you remember the move white should play here, right? Yeah, exactly. Queen a4, and since e5 is not a safe move, we win a pawn with very, very good chances to win the game with our material advantage. So thanks for watching this video. If you want to learn more about the Caro-Kann and how to play against it with the 2 knight system, which I really think is the best system and the most effective also at club level for dealing with the Caro-Kann, well, you can actually find a video where I cover it if you join Chess Improvement Group. So thanks for watching and congratulations on being a great chess student. I'll see you in the next email and possibly even in the Chess Improvement Group.